So our first story comes from former UFC champion Eddie Alvarez. The underground king who now fights for one championship has fought both Conor McGregor and Justin Gaethje in the past. He lost by TKO to Conor in 2016 at UFC 205, and he beat Justin Gaethje by knockout in 2017 at UFC 218. Now with background information out of the way, speaking to the Score MMA, Eddie Alvarez says Justin Gaethje would make too many mistakes in a fight with Conor McGregor, and that Conor would capitalize and knock him out.
Yeah, I think it was a knockout. I was able to catch him quite a bit with punches, and you watched Dustin was able to box him a little bit. The thing with Justin is if I thought he would implement a ground game and he was going to go in there and take Conor down and put him against the cage and do that, kind of do what Khabib did or do what I intended to do. If he was going to implement that game, I would say, Justin's going to do really well against him. But just stand-in for stand-in, stand-up fight, which is what I feel like it'll end up being. I feel like there's just too many mistakes that Justin would make and Conor would be able to kind of capitalize.
Our next story comes from Dana White. Speaking at the UFC Jacksonville post-fight press conference, Dana reacts to the Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou situation.
Anything's possible. I don't know if those guys really want that fight. You know what I mean? Let me tell you this, and I'm not saying this is the case with these two. You see a lot of talk online and whatever it might be, but actually making fights is a whole nother ballgame.
Now, speaking of Jon Jones, Jones was feeling pretty good about himself on Twitter. He wrote, "Got fights all over the place at heavyweight, the Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes rematches, middleweights talking big, and of course Jan Blachowicz waiting for his opportunity. Call it what you want, your boy's hot right now. I got a feeling my career is about to blow up, and I'm going to be ready for it." Our next story comes from Justin Gaethje. Speaking to Brett Okamoto from ESPN, Gaethje says he would fight Conor McGregor after he beats Khabib for the title.
"I'm here to make money, dude. That has nothing to do with me. When I beat Khabib, I will fight Conor because I'm trying to cash in. Whether he fights or not. Do I think he should fight? Absolutely. There's so many jokes you could make about his next fight. I don't know who he'd fight. One of the main requirements is you have to be coming off at least 2 losses. So who's in the top that fits that bill? Nobody. James Vick's looking for a fight, I'm sure. So
don't see Conor taking a fight against James Vick.
No, dude. Of course not. It's a joke. Dude, I hold the cards. That guy. It feels damn good, especially when you earned it.
Yep.
This was not given to me. Very select few fighters are given things from the UFC. This is something I took, so it's different.
Now back to Dana White. Speaking backstage at Jacksonville, here's how Dana reacted to hearing about Conor calling for a fight with Justin Gaethje. He reacted by laughing.
Conor said that?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. So say that to me again. Conor said that he'll fight Justin Gaethje this summer and Khabib's going to have to wait.
And Tony will fight Poirier instead. And then after this all is over, he's going to go up to welterweight.
Yeah, so we're going to do Khabib and Gaethje in September. Tony Ferguson, I'd like to see take some time off after that fight on Saturday. So I don't know. We'll see what happens this summer with Conor. And like I said, Tuesday I'll be back in the office doing matchmaking.
Our next story comes from Anthony Smith. Last Friday, UFC referee Jason Herzog apologized and took full blame for not stopping the fight between Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira. Well, Anthony Smith saw Jason Herzog's statement and called him a coward on Twitter. Smith tweeted this while watching Saturday's fights, "Trying to watch fights from the eyes of other people tonight. One guy is hitting another guy a bunch. Is this where we start calling for the ref and corners to step in? Also, at what point do we get disgusted?" To which a fan replied with, "The fact that Jason Herzog had to come out and apologize for not stopping it says all you need to know." Smith wrote back, "Coward move on his part, in my opinion." Smith continued with, "I make it a point before fights to know the commands and what he expects out of each one before every fight. I did everything he asked and responded correctly per the pre-fight meeting. Don't wilt under a little heat afterwards cause Twitter is mean. The world is soft, man up." Our next story comes from Urijah Faber. A longtime rival of Dominic Cruz, Faber gives his thoughts on the stoppage from Cejudo versus Cruz. Here's the clip.
I thought, the referees are in there to do their job and save guys from taking too much damage, but at the end of the day, especially in world championship fights when you're dealing with guys that are future Hall of Famers and multiple-time world champions, we want to remove all doubt. We want to know, I had no more chance. And so I feel for him on that. I feel like he could have still had a a chance, and that's always the part that irks you. So I can understand his frustration. I doubt that Keith Peterson was drunk. He might have been sweating some alcohol and definitely smelling like cigarettes, but I don't think he was drunk. He was just trying to look out for Dom.
Our final story comes from Alistair Overeem. Speaking at the UFC Jacksonville post-fight press conference, Overeem gives his thoughts on Stipe's situation of not being able to train due to the pandemic. Here's the clip.
Well, not much, right? Stipe is his own man. He makes his own decisions. You can't go around and say he's scared or whatever. I think that's nonsense. He's tough. He's proven it over and over again, and yeah, I don't really have much to say about him.
Thank you.
That about wraps up the video. If you made it this far, I thank you for watching. Peace.